Let's meet our next speaker for today. I'm delighted to introduce Jaime Galviz. Now, he took on the role as Chief Operating Officer and Chief Marketing Officer for Microsoft Middle East and Africa in February 2017. Prior to his 6 years in Microsoft Middle East, Jaime spent 14 years in South America, strengthening Microsoft's business operations in Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, and Venezuela. Today, he's going to be talking about marketing transformation. Please warmly welcome Jaime Galviz.
Thank you. Good morning. Ahlan wa sahlan. And I guess buenos dias for the few people who speak Spanish here. So the first thing I will say, forgive me about my accent. I get used to. People who work with me get used to, but I think after 10 minutes you will get used to, hopefully. But the idea is to get some connections and to share some information. If you don't understand something, you have my email, jgalviz@microsoft.com. Send me an email and I hope to help you to translate it. Thanks to technology today, we can do that live. We are not using it today, but I will do my best to try to share some insights and learnings from Microsoft. So when I was looking at this slide, I didn't do it. It reminds me when I joined the company. I've been in the company 20 years. I joined in 1997. And it reminds me about why I joined this company. And the reason at that moment is I just have a lot of passion of being a marketeer. I want to create things, I want to connect with people, I want to unleash my creativity. And at that moment, I thought Microsoft was one of the best companies in terms of marketing in the world 20 years ago. And then when you look about the top market 5 capitalization, it was there. Many different industries, a lot of industries, companies, and just one in technology. And that was the reason I joined that company. 10 years later, the industry changed. By the way, I think after 2 years that we were not the best company in marketing, and I learned that part, but I discovered something else that really kept me going on. 2007, it was the boom of oil, right? Energy. So majority of the company you see there. And today, and I agree with Rahul, which we didn't align before, but it was perfect timing for me to get introduced by him, actually. We are in a data-driven world. So all the advantage and the businesses are based on information and what do you do with information and how you take decisions. So there's no surprise about why those 5 companies are there in 2017. The reality about what I've been 20 years in this company is not because it's been in that chart for the last 20 years at all, because you can find better companies honestly who can pay even better or you can get more benefits. But the reason why I've been in this company for 20 years is this one. It's about who we are and about why we exist and about our mission, which is really at the end empower every person and every organization in the planet to achieve more. We may not be the sexiest brand in the world. We may not be the top quality product in the world. We may be the most significant and admired brands in terms of our products. But we are the one who bring technology and enable that technology to everybody. And we try to be as inclusive as we can. And we're trying to give an opportunity through technology and through software to everybody to be better, to achieve more things. And when I mean everybody, and we're going to talk about it. But this is the reason why I stay here for 20 years and when I'm still extremely passionate about every day. Now let's talk about fans. Today, when I arrived early in the room, I found a fan in the corner. He has a Surface laptop. I just approached him and said, hey, where is he speaking with the laptop? And he started telling me, no, I love this because of this, but I love Microsoft because of this. And he became to explain me why he's so attached to Microsoft, why he's able to do too many things, and why he's advocated the brand. I was astonished to say, what a better introduce for me to come to this event and find the first person I talked to is a fan. And now I see Rahul, and Rahul is leveraging our CRM to empower his business and achieve more things. I say, hey, we are allies in these things. It was a great, great fan. Now, I'm a fan of sports. I don't know you, I follow Real Madrid, of course, my team in Colombia who's going to the World Cup. And when you are a fan, you know, you are with that team or with that company or with that product or with your husband or your wife or whatever, you are in the good moments, in the bad moments. But you are there. But you support and you follow. Why? Because there is an emotional connection that connects your values about who you are, who you believe, what you were raised, what you aspire, with what that other entity, individual, sport, product, or company represents or try to be, about the who, about the why that exists, right? So we always try to understand who are those fans. And we say those fans are the people who will know sometimes more about you, sometimes more about your product, that will always want to be in the early stage of every launch, every announcement, and every moment, that when somebody criticizes will stand up for you and support, and that will advocacy all the products, like the fan that I found today in the morning here in the screen, showing me and talk to me about how great is Surface based on his personal experience, right? That's a fan. It's not a customer, it's very different. It's that type of loyalty that you're looking into people, and today we're gonna talk about fans. So, the first question that we ask is, do we know our fans, yes or no? Right? And when we talk about Windows, if I ask you, which one of these celebrities also the Windows fans follow the most? Your natural answer will be Bill Gates. That's wrong. If you tell me Betty White, I will feel a little bit depressed. But not. But surprisingly, it's Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel is the one. It's very interesting, right? That comes with all the analytics and data that we have in the back, and then we start following. Okay, if they follow this person, who else they follow in Windows, and here are the other brands. As I share, I'm a Real Madrid fan, so this hurt me a little bit, but that's the reality about who the fans on Windows are, right? And then you start to follow what is common there, why they follow those brands, what is the commonality, what they like about those other companies and brands that they like. Now, if I ask you the question, which I'm not going to go through based on time, about what is the top following brand of our Xbox fans, which are totally different than Windows, I'm sure you will guess, and you will guess, and you will find, because at the end it's Nutella. You think it has nothing to do? Well, it does a lot in terms of the behaviors, in terms of the demographics, in terms of the profiles, in terms of what they do, in terms of what they like. That part of understanding analysis of our fans is extremely important, because your fans in the new world are the ones who's going to talk to you in social life. Is the one who's going to be connected. Now, if I want you to remember something today that may work or not work for you, is this chart. And this chart talks about how you make fans. There is a non-compromising part, which is the first one, which is you need to do it right, the basics of your business, you need to do it right. There's no compromise. Nobody's going to have fans if the basics are not in place. I mean, the customer service, the way you deliver, the basic quality of your products, that top chart has to be there. And each one of you has your different KPIs and your different ways to see it. Now, when the minimum entry level, let's say, if you want to start having fans, then you have to work also in the bottom part, which is how in the customer journey of all the experiences and services that you provide, you're going to be able to surprise them, to create amazing experience that delight them, that they remember forever, right? That they can talk about to their friends and they can brag about, hey, look what my brand or my company or the one I'm following is doing. And the other, which is the most important, is you have to establish a connection, and you have to manage that connection and that relationship in a structured way, not in a tactical way. So the question is, can you do it? How we do it? Let's talk a little bit about that part. So as I said, today in the population, there's 2.8 billion of a population of 7.5 that we are in the world. So we're saying that 40% of the world is socially connected and active. That's the largest vehicle, even more than email, because email is not like an interactive, really live streaming media. So social is extremely important. I see some of the panelists. I'm happy you're going to talk about media following and social media, about the engagement. I'm not going to go into detail about that. I saw, here are some statistics. Neither wants to connect about that, but they're extremely important because it has to be a priority in today's world based on the reality As I said, you're going to have some sharings. Now, from sales, we do a lot of sales remotely, one-to-one, one-to-few, one-to-many, based on Microsoft portfolio. But internally statistic that we have seen also with LinkedIn, which is a company that we acquired a few time ago, we realized that when you have a seller who's using social selling tools like Social Navigator, his ability to outperform the other sellers are majority. Why? Because they have a tool that they can personalize how they approach their customers based on the information that they can get from a customer, so they know what the customer likes, what they follow, who they talk, who can influence it, and based on that they can personalize the communication and the approach. So, second thing, if you are using social selling tools, great. Try to change the culture internally in the sellers. I was an account manager, a sales manager, a vertical lead, everything. I know it's not easy. I know it's not easy, but this is the new word. Remember, 40% of the population like to be engaged and like to be responsive very fast. If you don't respond very fast, what happened? Your churn increase around 50% minimum. Because in today's world, you don't have time, right? So you get to something, you get attracted by something, you want to ask a question, you need an answer. You don't have the time to wait for 1 day, 2 days. Today we saw the example of Majid and Futain. I cannot wait 7 days. I need to buy now. I need 10 minutes. Right? Social is the same thing. So you start to question and say, okay, if I have too many people that I need to engage and there are that volume of people, how do I manage that amount of people? How I'm able to engage with them? And that's where technology came. And that's why I remember in the first chart, all these technology companies are now in the top, because that's the reality of the sales. Majority of the things is you have to have technology to help you to listen what is happening without you having dedicated people, but just technology who analyze automatically in the back end with just machine learning, with just advanced analytics, artificial intelligence. You're going to hear about that. I saw also in the agenda there is great content about that, to be able to identify those opportunities and hear, digitally hear, like we call it, digitally hear what's happening, who's talking. Then process that information and based on the analysis understand when you need to go and answer to someone or when you need to engage with someone because he's really interested and this is the right moment to put your sales representative or to put a partner or to put someone to connect with that person. So the system has to listen, has to interpret and understand, and has to trigger an action which usually goes to a CRM or any system that you're managing to manage your leads, your sales, and your relationship with your customers. So the second thing is, if the customers start asking us, and it's a volume of people, millions of people, today when I look at our statistic in marketing, we have more than 65 social channels across the Middle East and Africa. We are in more than 75 countries with social engagement directly. We have more than 55 million people who are engaged directly in social, and we are listening every day, every minute about what they're doing. In the last 3 months, there were more than 400,000 relationship and engagement. At the end, they ended up doing more than 20,000 actions. When I mean action is they register, they request for a presentation, they download a white paper, they write a comment that said, I want to be connected, or I want to be contacted. This volume of information, volume of interactions. So today, everybody knows about chatbots. It's one of the other key things you have to be able to have that conversation, because if you're going to hire too many telesales people, you're not going to be able to scale. So you need the technology to help you to interact. Some people say, but that's not human. I said, well, it's not human in the beginning, but it's even sometimes more fast enough, smart than a human, because you have the system connected to the CRM, all the information of the customer at the tip, and can say you, hi, I know you are like this, I understand what you're looking is this, let me suggest you the content immediately. Is, okay, are you okay with this information? No? Okay, let me patch you to a human sales representative or customer service representative. If you don't want to use the human because you think it's not natural, that's fine. Those assistants can be in a phone, can be in a web, can be in a device, and can be literally tomorrow in any microchip. So when you're looking about sensors, they're going to be all over the place. Just think about it. So you're going to be able to have presence all over the place without having to have amount of people. We have some examples in the region that I always like to call out. If you enter to Digua and you saw Ramas, that's a live chat that we have created. A majority of the 4 steps interactions is technology that is happening, but it's personalized technology to the users. And then they come in the real telecent of the people if the thing needs to be escalated or not in each one of the cases. So it's very interesting to leverage technology to be able to listen, to be able to understand, and to take actions, because the people want to take actions very fast. And I will stop here and I will ask you, do you have those processes in place? Are you ready to engage the community and identify your fans and treat differently those fans because you have the listening systems to connect and react with the customers? Yes, some of us, we are not that technology savvy, and I include myself because I'm not technology backgrounded, but I learned the technology and I get excited about what technology can do. And of course, because of my job, I have to learn it. And I was passionate about it. And at the end, I found, yes, you can learn it. Not too deep technically, but you can learn it. And in today's world, it's extremely needed because this is the new tools to do sales marketing. And I would say we are in a moment when marketing is taking sales. I always used to hire people from sales to come and do marketing because I think it was easier. Now I think it's going to be the opposite for the first time in all my career. I'm going to start bringing people in marketing because they can do a one-to-many sales in a more structured way, and they can understand the patterns, and they have the ability to do data analytics and get data insights to be able to respond to the needs that we have in a one-to-few, one-to-many environments. Here is an example, because you say, hey, this is for big companies. No, it's for everybody. This is a pop in UK. I don't know if it's correctly to bring a pop example here in our world, and forgive me about, and that's my intention, but just an example of a small business, which is a pop in UK. And what they do is they really have a lot of information, like everybody who manages a loyalty system or who manages a service entity like Magical Food does it. You have a lot of customers, you have a system of reservations in your POS systems or room reservations, you have vouchers that the people redeems electronically or physically, you have conditions that are externally that are not information like weather, traffic, etc., a lot of information. And then you bring that and you put it into system of intelligence that allow you to know people are satisfied, they are happy, what they eat more, where they sit, what is the preference, where they come, where they spend more time, how much time they spend, etc. And based on that, you're able to take actions. And that's how the system works. You got the data, great amount of data, personal, private, public information, bring it together, put in systems of intelligence, and then be able to take simple decisions, right? Here is the example about how does it look like, and here is the example of one of the customers that you know where he sits, what is the type of food that he always asks, and can you surprise this person when a waitress has this information in the hands? Of course it can. Of course it can. And that's part of the important part. So it's for everybody, technology is there, and we're able to help any type of company and business to do that. Now, at the end, when you're trying to get to your customer, you need to understand you need to reinvent your business. And this is maybe one of the toughest things to do in today's world because digital transformation is forcing us to reinvent the business. Everybody knows the cases. I'm not going to go through. By the way, when I saw the slide, I learned about what is the scheme because I didn't know. So I went and researched and I found out what is the scheme, and it's a great tool to get the news in your personalized in your phone every morning, and you can get all the type of news around the world, and you don't need to go and open different communication channels. You just have in one single place all the news that are relevant to you. Now, this is the Microsoft Business a few years ago, and I think it's around 10 years ago. It was based on a device, so we monetize based on every device. Based on that, we evolve it and we say, hey, we need to move more closer to the customers, and we created what we call a business that is more driven by user, not by device. So today, you can use all these services even though if you're not using a Microsoft or Windows device, and that's part of how the business evolved. And now we're moving to a more complex one, which is a service lead. You use what you need at any moment. It doesn't matter what it is, and you don't need to see it, what is in the back end. That requires a lot of engineering in the back end to be able to serve every customer. But if you want to be customer-centric, the first thing that comes to your mind is, are you changing your business? Is your business model and the way you're monetizing evolving? Yes or no? That's the part that we're doing, and there are many examples about how to. Now, let me try to go to to close in the part that for me is very important, which is because we are a company that wants to bring technology to everybody, we have to build an inclusive business. And that's, as I said at the beginning, this is the part that keeps me doing here. I just want to share about if your mission is X, are you living in the business that mission? Is that reflected? Are your fans and your customers be able to connect to that mission? Is that true or not? Because if there's something doubt in the middle, then you're going to have challenge to bring in those fans together. Now, I just would like to finish with this video, and thank you very much for your time.
الأمل means in English the hope, and in our school we try to give the hope for every deaf student.
We find and face many problems and challenges to make our students get all courses and the information about the course. To me, I call Office Mix the magic solution. I bring a slide for PowerPoint, and then directly from my laptop, I add my video with sign language translation and explanation for this content. It saves time, my efforts, and also give me a very good chance to create and do what I want.
They hope to learn to teach, to use technology. They are more effective with us with this new technology and these programs.
This is school for deaf people. We did not depend on hearing, only on sight. From the first day I come here, I'm starting with the technology, Microsoft Mix and Movie Maker. I found it very easy, more easier than I expected. The Movie Maker maybe at the beginning took about 45 minutes to prepare one. Now not more than 15 minutes. It's very easy. Everything they want to see, everything they want to read. It's not easy to give information without hearing. It's very difficult. So this Office Mix and Movie Maker make it very easy for me. Everything they can see, you know?
They need to see videos, pictures. Technology help us to give these pictures and these videos, make the learning more effective. Very good from Microsoft to add this technology for us.
What a great ending to see how technology impacts lives indeed. Wonderful, very inspiring. And of course, that was Jaime Galviz speaking there from Microsoft and talking about a data-driven world with fans at the epicenter. Though I have to admit, I find it very difficult to believe that Van Diesel was better than David Beckham. A retrial is required.